I just finished reading Babel, which sat on my shelf for years, and I anticipated reading quite a bit for quite some time. So now that I just finished, I have some thoughts. I really had very little expectation and just general context going into this book, which is kind of how I prefer to go into books these days regardless. But what I did know was that it was generally labeled as dark academia. Maybe there was some fantasy, some historical fantasy going on. Those assumptions turned out to be right, but not exactly in the ways that I thought they would be. You see, this book takes place in 1828, almost entirely at the school of Oxford University over in England. Our main character names himself Robin Swift after he is orphaned and brought over to England from Canton by a very mysterious professor. And at the university, he's admitted to the Royal Institute of Translation, which is this big tower you see on the front of the book. And that's sort of where the magic works its way into this book in a way that I've never seen before, because essentially, to dumb it down quite a bit, the way magic is produced in this universe is through silver working. So they inscribe translations on each side of the silver, and with a successful translation, a sort of like magical or arcane effect can be accomplished. And that is ultimately why Robin was brought there and recruited there by this professor. But that sort of starts to take a back seat, which I actually found quite a bit interesting because it turns much more into focusing on Robin's status as a sort of Chinese-born immigrant serving the country of England and the greater commentary that has on the English Empire and the ways in which that magic system that he is helping to contribute to is actually reinforcing colonialism, which ends up putting him between a rock and a hard place when he is recruited by the shadowy organization that is essentially looking to help overthrow Babel. So on one hand, yes, this book really wasn't what I was expecting when it came to thinking that there would be some more traditional fantasy elements in here. That was there, but it was much less about the magical system and much more about that historical context and that focus on the English Empire and the effects that colonialism has had throughout history. And for that, I really, really liked it. So I would say if you're looking for a dark academia fantasy book, there's some of that in here, but it does not seem to be the primary focus. I think this book at its core and what it's trying to do would work just as well if there was absolutely no magic within it. And I don't think that's a problem. I think it was well balanced. And overall, I enjoyed this one. So if you've been thinking about reading it, I say check it out.